Hey, what's going on everyone? Mike here, and today is the Q&A that I've been promising you. Before I get started on that, there's a few things I want to cover. The first being, when I start doing the questions, the username of the person who asked the question will be on the whiteboard. Secondly, I wanted to let you know about the blog. I started a blog for all of my online sales and eBay help tips. The blog is called michaelp.tv. That's the website. It'll be redirected right to the blog on WordPress. So just type in michaelp.tv in your browser and it'll pop right up. And then the last thing I want to cover is I am currently looking for a graphic designer. If anybody knows of any or knows someone who does graphic design, I would really appreciate you letting me know. I'm willing to pay. I'm not asking for free graphic design. I just need a good graphic designer that's reliable. I got a ton of work I need done, and I can't seem to find one locally that I like. So if any of you know of any, I would really appreciate you letting me know. But with that being said, let's get started on the questions. Alright, question number 1 comes from DJ, and he asks, is it better to have a personal or a business PayPal account? And to that I answer, it is always better to have a business PayPal account. Reason being, it's 100% free to upgrade to a business account, so why wouldn't you have it? You get free reports anytime you want, whereas if you had a personal account, you have to wait a week to get them. And there's a few other options you can do. Plus, if you're really running a business, it's registered as a business. It's much easier come tax time if you have it upgraded to a business account. With that being said, if you don't have an actual business and you're just selling personally, the IRS cannot check your PayPal account at all. They have no rights to it at this point in time, but in the future they probably will, so it might be good to get completely legal. Question number 2. DJ also asked if I could do a video in the future showing exactly what I do when I get a product from the very beginning to the very end, and the answer is yes, I am going to do that video. However, like I said before, it'll probably take about 3 weeks, maybe even longer. I'm waiting for all my bank account that I just opened, my business account, to get completely organized, I guess. Once that's done, then I can start ordering wholesale and some other things, and I will show you exactly how I do it from start to finish. So I'm not going to give an exact date on that. I have no idea, but it should be in the next month. It'll be up, and that should be really interesting. I think that'll help everyone get an idea of what I do behind the scenes. Question number 3 comes from, I believe it's Hezimal. I'm pretty bad at pronunciation, so I hope I said that right. I probably didn't. Anyways, he asked if there's going to be any more rant videos. And to that I say, do you want more rant videos? Because the fact of the matter is I could rant on and on about anything. I'm a pretty opinionated person, so if you want rant videos, let me know. I could probably do one every 2 weeks on my own. If you have ideas for topics and you could give me a topic every week, then I could definitely do it every week. But for me to think of a topic on my own, probably take 2 weeks in between each video because I'm not too good at picking topics for videos. Question number 4, there's quite a few parts to it, so I'm just going to start with the first one. It comes from EJ, and he asks, why do sites like Dhgate.com have such expensive prices when they label themselves as wholesale? And the reason that is because they're not wholesale. Actually, real wholesale websites you can't even see publicly. You will never find them because wholesale websites are hidden from the public eye because they don't want you to see what department stores are paying for things. The fact of the matter is, when we go to the store, we're actually getting ripped off. And that's how businesses stay in business. So the wholesale sites don't want you to see them. In order to see a wholesale site, you need to go get a vendor's license and the rights to collect sales tax in your state, at which point you're allowed to register for the wholesale sites because they can sell you goods with no tax added on, and you're supposed to collect tax when you sell them. With that being said, each state has completely different laws, and some states don't even have sales tax. So it all depends on where you live, and to find these actual wholesale sites is not that easy because they don't make themselves that accessible. So I don't really have any advice on how to find wholesale sites besides if you register on worldwidebrands.com. They have a whole registry of wholesale. The problem with that is I believe it's a $200 membership. I actually have one I got 2 years ago, and I can now use it finally after 2 years because I got my vendor's license, but up until that point I could not use it. So that's a tough one. I'm not that good in wholesale. I always sold goods that were not in wholesale. I mean, that could be a good route, like things you get at garage sales and from people is a good start, and then move into wholesale later. That's what I'm doing now. So I hope that answers your question. That's about all I know about wholesale. I'm not too good on that topic, but I'm going to move on to the next part. The next part was where can you buy wholesale, and as I said, that depends on what you want and where you need to look. So do your research. That's my best advice on that topic. And he also asked if I could do a video on drop shipping. And yes, I will do a video on drop shipping, but I will let you know ahead of time, I'm not a big fan of drop shipping. There's a lot of issues involved with it, and it makes your seller rating go down almost all the time because you're not in complete control of the situation. It could be a good way to grow without having to do any major overhead, but it could also be detrimental to your business if you don't handle it right. So I'll do a video on it, I'll discuss it, and I'll let you guys know my opinions, and then I'll ask you about yours, because that's a pretty touchy subject for a lot of people and a lot of buyers. I'm not too big of a fan of buying from people who do drop ship, because there has been a lot of issues. So I'll discuss that in a video in the near future. The next question came from a username 182125, and she asked me how I keep my store stocked up. And that's a very good question. I've always sold retro video games, which means I can't get them from a supplier because they're no longer manufactured. So I have to go out and look. I look for lots on eBay, garage sales, family, friends, and people I know that I sell video games, so they bring them to me. I also do consignment from time to time, and just all sorts of things. I keep my door open and I look all over. With that being said, I'm now moving into wholesale, but wholesale in the video game department is very competitive, not something easy to do, so I have to research what I can and can't sell, because things like Amazon and GameStop exist. But there's a lot of things they don't sell too, so it's definitely something I want to look into. But for now, I buy from, not very consistent sources, but I buy from a huge array of them, so I can usually get stuff no problem. Looking for auctions late at night is a really good way to get stuff cheap on eBay, because people aren't up. And by late at night, I actually mean early in the morning, 2, 3, 4 a.m. is a good time. And the next question comes from Riviak, and he asks, is it truly possible to make a living like this? And to that I say, if you're doubting it, probably not. Because if you have any doubt in your mind that you're not going to be successful, you absolutely won't be successful. To be successful, you have to be willing to push yourself, take risks, and make it happen. There's way too many people that want the easy button and just like, oh, my business is going to do great. But that's not how it works. You got to be willing to bust your ass and make it happen. And yes, you can absolutely be successful. I plan in 10 years having a business that's running by itself, that I can check in on, deal with the customers on a daily basis, because that's what I like to do, and it'll make me plenty of money. But I have to work really hard to get to that point, and it's possible it could not happen. It's possible a million different things could happen, but the fact is, that's the goal I have in my head, and that's really what I'm going to work toward, so I think I'll hit it. The problem is, if you don't make goals and you don't work hard, you don't believe in yourself, it's absolutely not going to happen. So if you're doubting yourself, I wouldn't suggest doing it. It's not for you. Not everyone is meant to start a business. Everyone thinks it's this easy way out. It's not. It's much different than a normal job, because a normal job, you go, you work your 8 hours, you go home and relax. That's not like that when you're starting a business. You got to work hard for the first 10 years to make it happen. Then you can relax. It's not the same. You got to have that mentality that you want to relax later. You don't want to relax today, you want to relax later. So you got to make it happen today and work towards it, so that one day you could be the guy who's sitting in a chair while his business is making tons of money. That's really all I could say about that. You absolutely could make a living, but you have to work hard. Riviak also asked if I could show a video about my business process. And to that, I don't know exactly what you mean. I think it goes in lines with the start to finish with the other user that asked me to do a video, so I don't know if that's exactly what you mean, or if you mean like how I do my accounting and, calculating my profit and that kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is, I plan on doing plenty of behind the scenes videos. I'll probably cover any issue you want to know about, really. My business is much more organized now than it used to be. I do my own accounting, and I have spreadsheets and everything, so it's much different now as to where I didn't keep good records before. But I was just learning, and I haven't had any issues with the IRS or anything, so I'm not too worried. But in the future, in case I ever do get audited, I want to be all set, no issues at all, smooth right through, because it's not a good thing to have problems with taxes and the IRS and that. And as Cliff Enica would say, it's always best to just report all of your income. Even if you don't have good accounting, report anything, because if they ever come after you later and they found out you were lying whatsoever, there goes all of your credibility. They're not stupid. They realize if you make mistakes and they'll work with you. But if you're lying to the IRS, they're really going to catch up with you. Anyways, I think I covered most of the questions. These were the important ones and the ones I got asked multiple times. One more. This is the one that I got asked the most, and I almost didn't cover it. I got 5 different people that asked me how and what they should sell. So to that I'll say, first of all, always work with something that you enjoy. When you're making your own business, pick something you enjoy. You'll like working so much better. I love video games, I really do. I have an Xbox right behind me, a PlayStation 2. I play video games every day. And I love selling them, because when people come to me, my customers ask me for my opinion or my question, I know it's an honest opinion, an honest, answer. And I'm all about honesty. So if I hate a game that I'm selling and someone asks if it's good, I'm going to tell them it's ass. I mean, that's just how it is. So work with something you love, you enjoy, you're knowledgeable about. And even if you're not knowledgeable, you'll become knowledgeable as you work. So definitely pick something you're passionate about. And as to where you get this product, for me, I'm doing sources that aren't replenishable. They're not mass produced anymore, so I have to look around. If you want to do the wholesale route, you need to find out what you need to do legally in your area to get it done, and then go get all that paperwork and that done. And then you have to look for wholesalers. You got to find out, what you can get locally. If you call around, you can find wholesalers locally. When I was talking about earlier, you can't find websites for them, but they should be listed in, your local business books like Yellow Pages or whatever. And if it's local, you could probably pick it up. You don't have to worry about shipping, that kind of thing. So it's really about what you want to do. And I can't really give you a direct answer with that, because I don't know every individual situation. You're all in a completely different situation than me. So, I have very low expenses and I can experiment, and, I don't have the same overhead as everyone else. I don't have a family to feed. I don't have a lot of bills. I don't have to worry about that stuff. So it's all about your situation. You have to just figure it out and do some research. I'm here to help you. I want to help you, but I can't answer every question. It's just not going to happen. So I wish you all the best of luck. I hope I answered most of these questions. Like I said, michaelp.tv is the new blog. Check it out. I'm going to be updating it over the next few days. All of the videos are already up that I want to be on there, but I'm going to start doing packing and shipping tips, great resources to look at, and just help everyone out. Do Q&As via text rather than video all the time, because I can do that daily. And just keep on watching, guys. I appreciate it so much. We're at 30 subscribers now, which is awesome. And I'll see you guys next time.